It's Fabulous Friday, September the 4th, and time to read the Times Reporter's newspaper. My name is Pam, and let's begin today's reading with the area deaths. Joanne Altier, 91, of New Philadelphia, passed away on Thursday, September 3rd at Park Village Southside in New Philadelphia. A private family viewing will take place at the funeral home. A mass will be held at the Sacred Heart Catholic Church in New Philadelphia on Thursday, September 10th at 10:30 a.m. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, social distancing will be required and masks are a government mandate. Glenn E. Stahl, known as Hunter, 88, of Port Washington, died Wednesday, September 2nd, at his home after a courageous battle with liver cancer. Services will be Monday, September 7th at 11 a.m. at Addie Funeral Home, Newcomerstown, with Randy and Jim Stahl officiating. Visitation will be on Sunday, September 6th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the funeral home. Well, that concludes the area deaths in the Friday Times Reporter. So let's begin with our first article. School superintendents await guidance from state on reporting COVID-19 cases, by John Baker. Area school superintendents are awaiting details on a requirement from Governor Mike DeWine that districts must make information about a positive COVID-19 case publicly available and notify parents or guardians in writing about the case. School officials will need to report cases, both students and staff, within 48 hours to their local health departments. Local health departments will then inform the state health department, which will compile totals and share them every Wednesday. The information shared should not disclose protected health information, which is protected by HIPAA, or the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act rules. The changes are part of a new Ohio Department of Health order, which has not yet been written. I am concerned that while people want to know everything immediately, this type of requirement may cause undue panic, and I sincerely question how to provide this type of notification without potentially jeopardizing one's personal identification information or disclosing protected health information, said Mark Murphy, superintendent of Tuscarawas Valley Local Schools. Brian Wrench, superintendent of Claymont City Schools, said his district will follow guidance from the Tuscarawas County Health Department on whether anyone needs to be quarantined. I know the potential new order states that we could have to set up a COVID hotline and notify parents of positive cases without breaching HIPAA, he said. If this does pass, the information will be very limited from the school to protect HIPAA rights. Indian Valley Local School District officials will have to see the specifics of the governor's requirements in order to know how to respond, said Superintendent Ira Wentworth. It's my sense that many from the educational community as a whole have questions about potential HIPAA and FERPA, Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, issues after learning of the governor's announcement, he said. Maintaining the privacy of students and staff will be difficult in a district as small as Strasburg-Franklin Local Schools, said Superintendent Cindy Brown. With a school district that is as small as Strasburg, even if you state it is a second grade student, parents will simply ask their child, "Who wasn't in school today from your class?" she said. This would immediately violate a sense of privacy. We have been instructed that the local health department will work on the tracing and will advise us about cases and who needs to be in quarantine. We will rely upon the advice of the health department. As a school district, we have assigned seats in classrooms, on the bus, and at lunch. If a case develops, we will be able to provide the health department with seating charts, absences, etc. to assist with tracing. All area superintendents said they will work closely with local health departments in dealing with a COVID-19 case. If we have a positive case, we will communicate with and follow the lead of the Tuscarawas County Health Department on how the situation needs to be handled, said Jim Mellett, Superintendent, Garaway Local Schools. David Brand, Superintendent of New Philadelphia City Schools, agreed. New Philadelphia City Schools are working closely with the City of New Philadelphia's Health Department and the Tuscarawas County Health Department to navigate the COVID-19 situation, he said. This situation is evolving and causes us to make adjustments as we learn more and as requirements change. Up next, Contractor removes soil and plants affected by a chemical spill. In New Philadelphia, the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency hired an environmental contractor to remove soil and plants affected by a chemical spill behind the Eagle truck stop on Wednesday morning. No waterways or drinking water systems were affected, and there is no threat to people, according to OEPA spokesman Anthony Chenault. The liquid came from a tanker parked at the truck stop. It flowed into a ditch between the parking lot and on-ramps for Interstate 77 and U.S. Route 250, causing their temporary closure. Local emergency response workers suspected the liquid was hydrochloric acid, but Chenault said the acid liquid had not been identified as of Thursday. Ohio EPA removed approximately 40 cubic yards of soil and debris from an area measuring 50 feet by 10 feet, he said. The Ohio EPA and the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio are investigating the incident. PUCO is trying to identify the owner and driver of the truck that left the scene of the leak, according to Matt Schilling, PUCO spokesman. The truck stop supplied video evidence. Our next article, commissioners celebrate Women's Equality Day. Since 1973, August 26th has been celebrated as Women's Equality Day in the United States. However, this year, Women's Equality Day carries a special importance because 2020 marks the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Ratified on August 18, 1920, the 19th Amendment guaranteed the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. In celebration of both National Women's Equality Day and the ratification of the 19th Amendment, the commissioners approved a proclamation commemorating both these days and lit the courthouse in purple and gold to celebrate Women's Equality Day and women's rights to vote. For over 70 years, women protested, picketed, and fought for not just equality at the ballot box, but also to move the country closer to the promise that all are created equal. The proclamation said, in 2020, 100 years after the 19th Amendment was ratified, our country again faces trying times. But if we show the same courage as individuals such as Susan B. Anthony, Alice Paul, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Lucy Stone, Ida B. Wells, and all the women who marched and fought for the right to vote, we will get through this moment together and move our country forward, just as the women of the women's suffrage movement did. We encourage everyone to take time to learn more about the women's suffrage movement and the role played by women in the history of our country to reaffirm the commitment to the democratic principles of the United States of America, particularly the words of the 19th Amendment, and to celebrate Women's Equality Day and the centennial of the ratification of the 19th Amendment. Moving on, Joe McGee to take over Carrollton wrestling program from Ken Pasiuk by staff reporter. Carrollton, Joe McGee has been named to replace 16-year head coach Ken Pasiuk as head coach for the Carrollton High School wrestling program. McGee is a familiar face to the program, spending the previous 6 years as an assistant under Pasiuk, who announced his retirement earlier this year. Since arriving in Carrollton in 2013, McGee has served as an assistant coach for wrestling, football, and track. McGee graduated from Groveport Madison High School in the Columbus area and went on to college at West Liberty, where he played football and wrestled while majoring in health and physical education. Our next article is titled, Dover Considering Electric Rate Hike for Dover Chemical. City Council is considering raising the electric rates for Dover Chemical to make up for what the city's law director calls 44 years of unjust discrimination in favor of the company. Doug O'Meara claims the city and its power company have treated Dover Chemical illegally and unethically for decades by providing free equipment and services to the business, which is technically not in Dover city limits. O'Meara told City Council Monday to raise the electric rates for Dover Chemical to make up for it. He believes the city favored Dover Chemical, and Mayor Richard Homrighausen knew about it because the company threatened to leave as a customer. Council members said they would wait to hear the response from other city administrators before making a decision. Mayor Richard Hammerkhausen has denied O'Meara's claims. Moving on. Pike Grange to hold drive-through soup sale. Pike Grange at 1421 Battlesburg Road Southeast, East Sparta, will hold a drive-through soup sale from 3 p.m. until it's gone on September the 12th. Homemade chicken noodle soup and chili will be offered for $8 a quart. Moving to the next article, the second annual Tuscazor 100 will be held at Camp Tuscazor beginning Saturday. The event will feature both 100-mile and 50-mile races. The course will be a 25-mile loop, 4 loops for the 100-mile race and 2 loops for the 50-mile race, consisting of single-track trail, the old railroad beds, and towpath trail. Along the course, you will see beautiful woodlands, overlooks, and old iron mine Dover Dam, the Tuscarawas River, and the historic town of Zor. Between 200 and 225 runners, last year they had 137, are scheduled to run. The bulk of the runners will be doing a 25-mile or a 50-mile race. There may be 50 or so runners that will attempt the 100 miles, which means that they will be running through the village all Saturday night. The race ends at noon on Sunday at Camp Tuscazor. My next article, game goers encouraged to monitor stadium compliance. Area public health officials are counting football fans to police themselves and each other in the stands. Tuscarawas County Health Department spokeswoman Jennifer DeMuth said their enforcement team isn't going to high school stadiums to monitor compliance with the state's COVID-19 guidelines, since attendance by anyone other than those close to the participants is prohibited. She says they're counting on attendees to monitor the situation and report any concerns to the department, although they haven't received any complaints so far. DeMuth said people can contact the Tuscarawas County Health Department to report any game-related health concerns. This next article, a bond was revoked for a man from laced cookie case. The former Uhrichsville man, infamous for a Facebook Live video where he and his girlfriend baked a batch of laxative-laced cookies for Claymont's union picketers, is back in jail on drug charges after being arrested in Michigan. 30-year-old Bo Cosens had his personal recognizance bond revoked Monday when he appeared in Tuscarawas County Common Pleas Courts for a hearing in his marijuana possession and trafficking case. Judge Elizabeth Tamakos ordered the revocation, saying Cosens' actions, including removing his GPS monitor and fleeing the state, have consequences. A interstate warrant, was issued last November after Cosens failed to appear in court for a status hearing. His next pretrial hearing is September 14th. Moving on, SBDC to host free small business webinar. The Small Business Development Center at Kent State University at Tuscarawas will host a free Leadership Success Within Challenging Times for Small Businesses webinar at noon, September the 10th. Sarah Andreas will discuss business leadership and identifying and investing in leaders within an organization. Key takeaways will include creating a big picture for success and understanding how one's story impacts outcomes. To register and receive a meeting invite, go to sbdcksut.org/register-webinars. Well, the Elections Board meeting September 10th about security. The Tuscarawas County Board of Elections will hold a special meeting September 10th to discuss security for the November 3rd presidential general election. The meeting will begin at 8:30 a.m. in the board's office on the ground floor of the county courthouse. Moving on, let's meet Ashley Duhamel. We recently caught up with Newcomerstown native and high school cheerleader advisor Ashley Duhamel. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, and the cheerleading years you spent at NHS, as well as why you decided to coach cheerleading on the high school level. Well, I'm a graduate of Newcomerstown High and Ohio University. I am the sales manager for the AAA Ohio Auto Club in Zanesville, where I get to work with amazingly talented and well-traveled people. booking travel and planning escapes and honeymoons. Although at this point in time, things have taken a much more domestic turn as far as the travel industry in the U.S. is concerned. As you can imagine, the pandemic has posed quite a challenge for people looking to enjoy a vacation this year. But I will say it is still possible, so contact your agent. I currently reside in Coshocton with my family, Adam, Kaylee, Corey, and the 3 dogs, Roman, Luna, and as well as our cat, Harriet, where we are all anticipating the birth of our new baby in November, conveniently due between football and basketball seasons. My high school years were some of the best years of my life. Some of my favorite, most lasting memories are from that period of time. I was involved in softball, cheerleading, marching band, dance, honor society, and school plays. Back then, things were just fun. I can remember cheering at away football games, and when we would get close to town, the police and fire trucks would escort us for our victory loop around town. Meanwhile, every single person on the buses was belting out our victory down by the river song out the window. I swear we woke the entire town on those nights. Many of them were already waiting on their porches for us to pass by and cheer with us. That was back when we didn't have cell phones to text our parents when we got close to the school. We just had to hope they remembered to pick us up at the usual predetermined time we agreed on. We went to the playoffs that year in 2000, and the following years yielded more winning seasons, including an undefeated year as well. Those were my good old days, and we didn't know it then, but those were the times that were being etched in our memories. You can never forget those feelings, and I wanted to come back to help and be a part of a place that helped shape me. I love coaching these girls. They are at an age when they are really starting to develop and perfect their skills. People might think it looks like an easy job, but I know I speak for every cheerleading coach out there when I say it is definitely not. Rewarding? Yes. Easy? No. But definitely worth every second at the end of a busy day. I really do have the best girls, cheer parents, and volunteers any cheer coach could ask for. Well, please tell us how cheerleading camp and the rest of the summer cheer activities have changed due to COVID-19. Many things have been negatively impacted for my girls this year due to the pandemic, including tryouts, fundraisers, spirit rally, camp, practice routines, expectations, and new requirements. Who would have ever thought we would be in a time like this? But at the end of the day, the show must go on. We get up, we dress up, and we show up, even if it is with masks on. Due to the pandemic, we choose to host a home cheerleading camp this summer since our scheduled away camp has been canceled. Home camps can be nice sometimes, especially for smaller squads, but the girls just don't get the same experience they would when they attend away camps. Away camps are just so much fun and offer such a well-rounding experience. I prefer them to a much more relaxed, less intense home camp. The social aspect of away camp, the strict schedules, and the team bonding time that the girls get during away camp is just so valuable and maturing for them as a team and as individuals. It's really rewarding to watch them get to experience being away and in a different environment, one that is entirely structured for them as cheerleaders. However, instead of foregoing camp this year altogether, we opted for having a home camp. These girls deserve to have something to work towards and look forward to, so it was very important to me to make sure we did that. I wanted things to feel as normal as possible for them, even if we were confronted with constant reminders that we are in very uncertain, very difficult times right now. Camp was a huge success nonetheless, and we are very grateful that we were able to host it this year at Newcomers Town High and our brand new field house. Tell us about your squad's anticipation of the start of the school and football season. I think the girls are skeptical. That would be the best way to describe their outlook on the upcoming school year and season. I think they're worried about not having that experience this fall, the experience that everyone looks forward to on a Friday night. Cool fall air, stadium lights, looking up into the stands and seeing your whole town come out and support your team. And I think they have a reason to be, quite honestly. I think despite whatever happens with our upcoming sports season, that the real unfortunate consequence is that the kids could possibly miss out on high school experiences such as homecoming, events, and graduation that would otherwise stay in their memories for a lifetime. This new normal way of doing things could be around for a while, which is disheartening to consider. I think we are all a little worried about things being ruined, but we can't spend our time worrying about what we can't control. We have goals and things to look forward to for now. So we're going to continue to do just that. Look forward. What would you like to highlight for us? I think it's important to remember that times do change us, but that they don't have to change us for the worse. In a time when things are uncertain and scary, the one thing we have control over is our attitude about how we handle situations. And this is something I remind every one of my cheerleaders of throughout the season. Having a positive attitude makes all the difference, no matter in what situation we find ourselves in. Having said that, the Newcomerstown cheerleaders are ready, waiting to cheer on our school, our teams, and our town. Go Trojans! Let's move on to 30 seconds. I just wanted to say how wonderful it was to see the rally in downtown New Philadelphia Saturday afternoon supporting President Donald Trump and the Second Amendment. Next 30 seconds. I don't believe in racial prejudice. There should be no such thing. They are people. I don't care if they're black, green, purple, or yellow, whatever. They are human beings with feelings and hurts, joy and sadness. They are entitled to everything that everybody else is entitled to. They work for it. Everybody else works for it. Just be fair, and there would be no such thing as racial prejudice. Next one. I was at the Claymont Invitational on Saturday, and it was good to see some people being ejected from the cross-country meet for not having masks on. It's good to see someone taking it seriously. Do you have an opinion? An answering machine is on duty 24 hours a day. You can call 330-364-1939 or email opinions@timesreporter.com. Callers should speak slowly after the beep. Personal attacks, obscenities, intolerant, or biased messages are not acceptable. Let's talk about crime reports. In Tuscarawas County, items were stolen from a mailbox in the 3600 block of Club Lane Southeast in Brightwood, according to a report filed Thursday. In New Philadelphia, a Walmart manager said Wednesday that a subject from an outside company who was working in the store beat a man working for a flooring contractor. The victim declined to press charges, but said he might go to a hospital. A motorist said a light blue handicap van left the scene of a collision around 4 p.m. Wednesday at West High Avenue and Bluebell Drive. A report will be sent to the prosecutor about a man's complaint that he was shot with a stun gun Wednesday afternoon in the 200 block of 4th Street Southwest. Police received conflicting accounts. An unidentified vehicle damaged a fence and utility pole in the 200 block of East High Avenue early Wednesday afternoon. A woman from 5th Street Southwest said Wednesday that she gave multiple forms of personal information to a caller who claimed to be from the Drug Enforcement Administration. He said her Social Security number was used to rent a car found with blood and cocaine inside at the Mexican border. She was told to contact her bank and the Social Security Administration about the fraud. A pharmacy subcontractor reported Wednesday that Ativan was missing from Amberwood. In Yerkesville, a man said 2 acquaintances took his vehicle from his apartment in the 700 block of Claymont Drive on Wednesday. He found it in Sherroddsville. A woman said a man took money she dropped Wednesday afternoon in the parking lot of Dollar General, 403 East 3rd Street. He denied the accusation. Well, my dear friends, this concludes the reading of the Times Reporter for Fabulous Friday, September the 4th. Remember to please stay safe, be blessed, and wherever it's possible and within you, make it a great day today.